Conquering our fears does not mean abandoning common sense. In a previous video titled Conquer Your Fears, we saw that one of the ways to overcome our fears, especially of insects, snakes, lizards, dogs, and other creatures, is to try to see the presence of God within their soul. This was the attitude taken by Sri Ramakrishna, the God-realized sage and avatar. As we saw in that video, Sri Ramakrishna was so firmly established in this state of mind that even when a snake bit him, he was not the least bit fearful, but he saw only the Divine Mother Kali in its soul. As a result of his one-pointed and unwavering concentration of God, the snake's poison had no effect on Sri Ramakrishna's body. So the question arises, if a snake ever bites us, should we also similarly concentrate our mind on God instead of running to seek medical help? Should we pick up poisonous insects like centipedes and play with them? Should we go pet a rabid dog? After all, God dwells in their soul. The answer is absolutely not. I hope none of you have drawn these absurdly wrong conclusions after watching that video. Conquering our fears does not mean abandoning our common sense. We must at all times be wise, careful, and prudent. We must not foolishly and unthinkingly imitate the actions of God-realized sages. We must understand that a vast gulf separates them from us. Whereas God-realized sages such as Sri Ramakrishna, Mirabai, and Pavhari Baba had completely erased their ego and conquered their minds absolutely, we on the other hand have not. We are quite far from achieving this absolute goal. And so, while we may have succeeded in conquering some of our fears, such as those of insects, poisonous snakes, and other animals, by seeing the divine within their soul, our mind may still be full of other types of fears. For example, we may still possess the fear of death, the fear of losing family members, the fear of catching corona or other illnesses, the fear of failure, and many other forms of fears. And so our mind is not in the same state of absolute fearlessness as that of a God-realized sage like Sri Ramakrishna. Only an absolutely fearless, still, peaceful, and God-centered mind like his can remain unshaken and unaffected by poisonous bites. Therefore, we must not try to blindly imitate the actions of God-realized sages and act rashly or stupidly. We must not pick up a cobra and try to play with it, thinking that the Divine Mother Kali is in its soul. A cobra also possesses an unpredictable animal mind which covers its divine soul, and so a respectful reverence and distance must be maintained. While we must not become fearful and try to kill the snake, but we need not try to pick it up and cuddle it either. The Indian attitude of respectful reverence for all creatures and snakes in particular as being dear to Lord Shiva is the best attitude to keep. We must bow to it from a distance. From a distance we should marvel at the divinity within its soul and contemplate on the immense role it plays in balancing the environment by keeping the populations of rats in control. In this way we must conquer our fears. Sri Ramakrishna has himself explained this point of balancing fearlessness of mind with the qualities of wisdom and prudence using a very interesting story. This story is found in the book Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. Once upon a time there lived a holy sage in an ashram. He taught his disciples to see God in all beings and knowing this to bow before them. One day a disciple went to the forest to gather wood. Suddenly he heard someone shout, "Get out of the way! A mad elephant is coming." The disciple remembered his guru's teachings and thought to himself, "God resides in the soul of this elephant. Then why should I run away? I must bow before it." The trainer of the elephant again shouted, "Quick, move out of the way before the elephant tramples you." But the disciple did not move. The elephant became very cross at seeing the disciple, and so he seized him with its trunk and threw him to one side. Hurt and bruised, the disciple lay unconscious. When his guru heard what had happened, He was shocked at the disciples' foolishness and lack of prudence. He remarked, "Yes, it is true that God resided in the soul of that mad elephant. But God also resides in the soul of the trainer who tried to warn you to step aside. Then why did you ignore the wise counsel of the trainer? Since God resides in all beings, why did you ignore the trainer's warnings?" So to conclude, while it is true that God resides in the heart of all, and we must use this truth to overcome our fears, at the same time this fact does not mean that we set aside our common sense and run to embrace all creatures in an equal fashion. We must be wise and learn to discriminate. We must always use our vivek, our sense of prudence. As Sri Ramakrishna has said, it is said in the scriptures that water is a form of God. But some water is fit to be used for worship, some water for washing the face, and some only for washing plates or dirty linen. This last sort cannot be used for drinking or for holy purposes. A wise person knows this difference and acts accordingly. So this brings us to the end of this video. If you want to learn more about Vedanta and the teachings of our great rishis, then be sure to visit thespiritualbee.com. You will find there an immense collection of articles which will help clarify your concepts of spirituality. I don't only make videos. Many times I explain concepts by writing articles which I post on thespiritualbee.com. So be sure to visit the site. And additionally, if you want to receive one inspiring quote from our great rishis via WhatsApp or Telegram, then do follow the instructions on the screen. Thanks for watching, and we'll meet again in the next video.